Thanks for sticking with us, everyone. If you haven't caught today's games, I feel bad for you because they have been exceptional. This is our second set in a best of 5. Harrisburg University is currently down match point for Winthrop, so feeling really good about going into this next game. What do we need to see from Harrisburg, Crumbs, to ensure that the same thing doesn't happen?
We need to see that the same draft does not happen, Jolly. That's the first thing. We need to see a change of sides, a change of priorities, but more importantly, I think you got to push shorter ace on Morgana. The Morgana has not been getting banned in the first rotation, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it's getting banned in the second rotation. So we need to see a higher priority in the jungle pick for shorter ace. The Xin Zhao is just not cutting it. No fault of his own. The champion is just not as strong as these other picks in the meta, while Winthrop has been prioritizing the jungle pick much earlier on. They haven't been getting that pool targeted. So I want to see that happen. They haven't changed sides, but I think they can still prioritize shorter aces pick and see good results. Because you don't need to take the set this early. Listen, you want to keep playing set? Fine. Just prioritize other picks. They're not going to ban it. It's been feeding 2 games in a row. They're not going to ban it.
Oh, they banned the Rumble out. They did it. Thank goodness. That would have been a big one. I would have had to go hit up Special and be like, hey, hold up. How did you let that slide? But the Rumble will be taken out. That has been a huge factor in terms of the wins and the extra pressure the Winthrop has gotten in the early game. So, without that Rumble, they've still got first pick here. They are going to lock in the Nautilus once more. Sir Kenji has been playing exceptionally well on that. It has also been a huge part of them being able to get into this team fight stage a little bit earlier. The additional crowd control on that hook from the Nautilus makes it so that you can get some nice roam towards the mid side to get a little bit of pressure there for Doxa if he needs it. I'm very curious to see what Doxa will bring in here, if he's going to try to do the Akali again, or if they're just going to wait once more for the second round of picks to try to get something to counter.
They really like the Kai'Sa. They really like taking the support early on. They don't want to hide their bot lane. They want to hide the jungle pick instead. I still think you need to take the Morgana. The Nautilus has been hurting you so much. Shorter Ace was very good on it in the first game. And the Black Shield value you're getting is going to be phenomenal against the Nautilus. Winthrop recognizes it though. I think they see it. They take it right now. No Rumble is up against it. Udyr is available, but it's not going to be a good matchup into the Black Shield. That Bear Stun won't get past her, so I'm already liking what I see out of Winthrop. To me, it shows that they're still understanding what has been more important in the game so far when it comes to draft than what the Storm has shown.
And take away a little bit of the success as well from Harrisburg, being that Morgana, Shorter Ace, doing an exceptional job in that first game. So to not just take that away from the team, but to also say, all right, you took away my Rumble, well, let me get another fast clear who can engage very quickly. And while she might not be as quick, her mobility in general, like a little bit slower, those clear times mean that she's going to be just as invasive, or he, being Frost Force, is going to be just as invasive as we saw on the Rumble. The Gnar being locked in here, I do like the Gnar priority as well. It has been working out really well because so far these compositions have been focused around massive team fights.
Yeah, massive team fights and good laning phase too, because the Gnar has had a great time into the Wukong thus far. And, you know, you talk about Morgana not being that slow, or rather that fast. The Predator boots, the Predator meta Morgana, I think has been great to see her because, yeah, she's slow and clearing around the jungle, but she clears so fast. And then when it comes to the ganks, it really allows her to shine, not just in the team fights, making sure that the soul shackles connect, but roaming around, finding those bindings. And boy, do I not want to see another game of Xin Zhao here. They're targeting the jungle pool. They deny the Morgana, the Udyr again. They're not going to ban anything else because they think that Shorter Ace counts on this champion. But 2 games in a row, it hasn't worked out. It's been getting outpaced. If that doesn't happen, then I think that Winthrop has it in the bag.
Yeah, we can't. Honestly, it just hasn't worked out at all. We got some interesting hovers. We'll see what is actually locked in here for Shorter Ace because I sincerely don't want that, and it will be a lock on the Fiddlesticks. What?
Yeah. Okay. This was an MSI pick, right? The best in the world have played this. It was OCE's, Pentanet GG, Pabu playing the Fiddlesticks. there's a lot of power in this pick, right? The team fighting aspect is bar none. Nobody team fights as good as Fiddlesticks, as well, rather. The Leona with the Gnar combined. Now, the thing that's troubling here is like a Moss will probably have to play a physical damage mid laner. The Fiddlesticks does not want that many AP targets. It makes the value of Merc Treads just way too high. It already is fairly high for the Winthrop Eagles. You also have the Black Shield, so it's not going to be an easy Fiddlesticks game, but it's a big change, and it might just be exactly what the Storm needs.
And maybe it'll give them a little more opportunity to keep their jungle safe. I think that might be a lot of what the pick is here. The Lucian, though, is going to be the selection. So a little bit more of that early laning aggression, not so much for the team fight. I mean, the culling is exceptional in the team fights, but if they're able to get that early game pressure like we saw in game number 2, that game number 3, it's so easy to roll. And yes, the Viego is locked in here. We might not see a Gwen. That's okay, because we got the Ruin King.
This game is gonna make me lose my mind. You have Silas that's gonna steal Viego ults. It's gonna steal Fiddlesticks ults. I mean, this is gonna get nuts. This really is gonna get nuts because the Black Shield interaction will also have to keep our eyes on. But I really like what I saw out of the draft from the Eagles here. The Lucian is gonna not only be the denied physical damage pick against the Storm, but is gonna keep the lane shoved in, has a good range that makes it so much harder for the Fiddlesticks to actually jump onto you. Great time itemizing into the Quicksilver stash, which is gonna probably be needed. And then the Silas with the great steals. Good ultimates for it, but Viego's gonna be the X factor. Is this champion that we've rarely seen all year long gonna be the final stand for the Storm, or will it drive them forward to game 5? I'm not sure. Viego's brand new, so we'll see about it.
Yeah, and you know, I actually don't know how HU fares with Viego. Sorry, I'm picking up my notebook. Don't know how they fare because HU is actually one of the teams that I've seen less of recently. I used to see a ton of this team. They had 2 different teams, so they had a lot of investment in Harrisburg itself for the esports community. And you know, Harrisburg is gonna have to clean things up. I'm pretty worried here into Doxa. Like a Moz, getting counterpicked there certainly hurts, but it is a good addition to the composition here. Like you said, though, Crumbs, man, Winthrop's composition is just so admirable, to be honest. They have so much that they're going to invest in. They have to be successful with this, but they clearly have the confidence to pull it off.
Yeah, they do. They have had 2 games in a row of commanding victories to build on that confidence. So I can see why they've gone with this lane dominant champions. And the matchup in the top side, that's going to be really positive come team fights. The Silas struggles a little bit early into the Gnar, but once you get that ultimate going, when you can start stealing his own smash against the wall, then it's just a lot easier for you to team fight as opposed to him. He needs to charge up. You do not. You can have a Black Shield to protect yourself and go against the Fiddlesticks as well. But that's all fun and games. The action starts in the bot lane.
Already, I love it when we get some early damage, and it's not a big surprise that it's happening in the bottom lane, just like we've seen every game. First blood occurring down here, if not a double kill. And it has gone in favor of either team. That is not the snowball but that they end up rolling off of, which is nice to kind of recognize for these 2 teams. It's not that quick. You need to get it really moving to find an advantage here. I've got good faith, though. This is where Harrisburg's hunger really comes in. They do not want to allow Winthrop to move on. This is their chance to get into the grand finals. Clyde's going to get jumped on here. Saskio gets exhausted. Just a little bit of back and forth. But, I mean, this is Harrisburg's chance. This is match point. And they do not want to allow Saskio to potentially have the opportunity here to be the first ever 3-time college League of Legends Championship victor. So Saskio is going to jump forward. Clyde's going to flash away. Harrisburg down a summoner spell.
Oh, down 2 now with the exhaust and the flash. That's going to be a big advantage for the bot lane of Winthrop. So they are in a really fine spot. The Leona will have to really respect what's going on, and they base. They know they are in deep trouble in this lane, so they back off. They don't want to be exposed to a big summoner at disadvantage because the Nautilus could just flash onto Leona and they would have no chance of winning that team fight. So they're just back it up, play it safe, recognize that it's too tense right now. They cannot afford to give up these early kills like they did in the previous game.
And just another reason that Frost Force on this Morgana is so dang helpful. That's a lot of CC you got, Clyde, but it might not get through a Black Shield. Now, do keep in mind, of course, ooh, it's like a Moss is going to take a lot of damage here. No flash coming out from Doxa, not guaranteed. But it is worth noting that with the Black Shield, you do still get the pull with the Zenith Blade. So it's really timing it to get it so that you get the Q drop. And I have a feeling Frost Force is very aware of that one, and a big reason that they decided to select this as well, that Leona being the second pick here. So it just kind of played into their hands even better to land that Morgana as their second pick.
Yeah, the Morgana is just so good here because she can also go into Fiddlesticks' jungle fairly confidently. You're not going to get feared. You can just put that Black Shield on yourself preemptively, and his damage is going to be greatly reduced against you. Another fight in the bot lane. Oh, she goes in!
She's going to go in. The Zenith Blade hits, but that's a lot of damage onto Clyde. They're going to have to back away, and already Harrisburg is low on health.
Good timing there on the Aftershock. That was what stopped Saskia from going in. They have the minion wave disadvantage, but now come the junglers, so they're looking for the engage again.
Gonna get another Zenith Blade there, Clyde. Once more taking a bit of damage, and the rocket jump will come through. That spell shield, thanks to the Black Shield. Frost Force is gonna flash forward. Out comes Shorter Ace, trying to peel a little bit of damage away, but it's just gonna be the one.
The Black Shield on the Tristana was critical, and they stood no chance. They still are at a heal disadvantage in the bot side, so they were always going to win that fight. Junglers just beelining it, with the Predator boots, just trying to make it there as quickly as possible. As Hybrids thinking about going for a kill here against the Gnar, but the health potion is going to keep him healthy. But again, the story of the previous two games repeats itself. Bot lane gets ahead, and the snowball begins from their own lane. The support starts roaming around. I need to see what Sir Kenji does with this. Even though he did not get the kill, he's been having so much priority and such a presence in the past two games that I feel like this is exactly where he wants to be, with a jungler that can just Black Shield and give him all the confidence to know that the Fiddlesticks will never catch him alone. And here he is, looking for the first roam, but gets caught.
It's going to be a flash in like a Moss, but the Zenith Blade hits before Sir Kenji can actually flash away. Doxa trying to do what he can here, but Shorter Ace is going to find him out, and that will be Clyde who ends up taking the kill onto Sir Kenji. That's going to even those out.
They knew what was up. They saw that the Nautilus was looking for roams just like the first two games, and instantly had multiple members ready to collapse onto him. The Morgana was not with him. He felt like he had the opportunity, but the control ward that, like a Moss had placed there earlier, really paid dividends.
The cooling does come out, but it's instantly stopped there by like a Moss, and that's going to be a pinch onto Winthrop. Doxa goes down. Shorter Ace picks up the kill. Frost Force is like, nope, I'm not walking anywhere close to that.
I am loving this out of Harrisburg. They're finally grouping up around mid lane and really just putting the work in. It was what they did in the first game against Doxa, against Sir Kenji. Anybody who came to the mid lane was going to have to deal with multiple members. And now when you have a Viego dealing with a range matchup, they're helping him a bunch, and it's exactly what they need. You need to be getting ahead. It makes the Fiddlesticks so much more dangerous, because the last thing you want is that deep vision going into your jungle. Meanwhile, Gnar's ultimate.
Not into the wall. Tried to use the ultimate to get them closer to Frost Force to possibly land the binding there, but by not throwing him at the wall, you don't get the stun off, so he's just able to bounce away from that fight.
Yeah, Morgana is going to be there to threaten him away, not going to let him auto-attack and get back to Mega Gnar, so it's going to be a big deny. He doesn't have the teleport. The rest of the squad is just chilling in the bot side. There's no dragon in a position to be taken, so Gnar just gets denied, and Morgana gets the counter jungle. It's a good win for Winthrop.
Saskio has the level advantage here. Level 6 up over the Kaisa. Hopeful, but they're going to separate here, make some more moves. Very proud of Harrisburg for focusing a lot more on getting some vision down, especially around that dragon that has been very easily taken by Winthrop each time, and they're going to be the ones to start this out here. Winthrop has pings, though. They are aware of exactly what's going on. Can Harrisburg kill it quickly enough? Shorter Ace decides to hide in the bush instead of offering help here so that they can go in with an engage. The ultimate to come through. The Zenith played onto Sir Kenji. They're going to pick one up like a Moss trying to hold off the backside. The culling comes out from Doxa, and that is going to be a flash away of the ultimate as well from the rest of the team. Oh my goodness.
The hook did not connect, so he didn't have the opportunity to either do damage or even proc the Aftershock to live a little bit longer. So even though Shorter Ace's ultimate didn't actually do a whole lot, the range that he has with the Predator boots actually allowed him to chase down the Nautilus, get the kill, get the objective, and keep this game in a really positive state for Harrisburg. 2 kills over to the Fiddlesticks is ideal. You are totally okay giving all your gold over to this champion because you can just burn through the Morgana Black Shields if you actually get significantly far ahead. She can only protect a single member, and a good Fiddlesticks ultimate can get the whole team feared. So it doesn't actually matter that you can protect somebody. You just need to be in a position to get that great ultimate, and then the Black Shield is irrelevant.
So much pressure coming from Winthrop. They are so confident moving forward here, especially on that bottom lane side. But it is nice to see this gold. It was, with Creep being in considerable favor of Winthrop beforehand, they've evened things out. Fiddlesticks is really committed to this one. Sandflame trying to get enough hits here to get to Meganar. But it's going to be a disconnect from that fight. Too far into the enemy jungle. Silas on the way.
The blue smite might have been used a little bit too early. Didn't quite get the slowdown, but Morgana pretty quick too. She already has the tier 2 boots as well, so she's not going to be too worried about being run down by the Fiddlesticks, who is about to have the ultimate again, and this Herald fight could be really dangerous. You've got 5 people from Winthrop coming over here. Kaisa is not there though, so there might be thinking about giving this one up. They're really not in the position to it. Maybe they can just get a kill with Shorter Ace. If they can just see Hybrids going in. Oh yeah, here he goes.
There's the ultimate. Sandflame gets flashed on here. Hybrids now is going to be taken down. The Ignite comes out like a Moss. Finds the kill. In the meantime, Clyde goes into the backside. The exhaust onto Saskia, but Clyde gets locked down, and Doxa just does too much damage. Hopeful is not hopeful about re-engaging in this fight, and that is going to be another win for Winthrop.
Yeah, and the Herald as well. Early Herald, and not a lot of CS being taken over by the side of Harrisburg, so it's not like they lost quite a bit for it. That trade in the top side was pretty worthwhile. Yeah, the Silas traded a kill, but you got the flash out of Fiddlesticks. That ability is huge for making a play happen. The Predator boots are one thing, but the flash Fiddlesticks ultimate is even more important. So that spell being used for just burning a 1-for-1 doesn't strike me as worth it. And Clyde just being a little bit too zealous here. By himself, there's no follow-up. Clearly the fight for the Herald wasn't going to happen when the commitment was in the top side. He gets caught out, gives a kill over to Doxa.
And Winthrop is not going to allow Harrisburg to take these advantages. Hybrids once again going in. Sandflame's going to get the jump over. Almost has Meganar. He's going to get the slow there. Just some nice back and forth going on between these two top laners. A lot of respect you can feel. But the roam has certainly been an advantage of Winthrop. So the continuation of those plays are going to favor them. Now behind 1 Dragon, though, gives a lot of hope for Harrisburg as well. Just the fact that they took that objective away from the team that has been snagging almost every single one throughout this entire series feels good for the start of this game. They can't let that gold differential get too big, and it's already looking so much better because the last couple of games, we were looking at a 10K gold differential at less than 20 minutes. Doxa might be going in here. It's going to be a jump over by like a Moss. Now the rest of Winthrop is on the run. The Culling's going to come out. The Binding's just barely going to miss as like a Moss decides to go back in on that one. Gets over the wall, and Doxa will find the kill after a flash.
Yeah, he got cornered. You see everybody from Winthrop just running straight past the river. They had priority in the bot lane. They had initially shoved because they had the Rift Herald, thinking about either using it in the bot lane or using it in the mid lane with the control wards in river. They had plenty of priority here. Sandflame might be in trouble.
That is a lot of damage and a flash out. Hybrids has a little dash, though. You're not going to get away from that, and the chains will secure it.
Whoa,
another successful fight for Hybrids.
Just demolished in the top side. That is a big sign of trouble for Harrisburg. You're losing a 1v1, getting solo kills. Rift Herald popped in the bot side. It's not just going to be the first tower. It's going to be the dragon as well. The objective that you were counting on for these team fights no longer going to be a source of starting a fight. You're going to have to go back to the laning phase, and that is not working. Fiddlestick's ultimate is out.
Gonna use the binding, does hit. Frostforce trying to get away. That is going to be hopeful with the killer instinct. He's gonna pick up the kill. And Harrisburg might have found themselves a bit of an advantage here on this dragon.
Yeah, okay, so that pick is actually critical. Had Morgana not died there, that would have easily been their dragon. They had the position to go for it, but taking that kill down really puts them in a great spot now to at least have something to hold on to in this game. Yeah, the side lanes are not going down, but if you can have that dragon as the way to guarantee the Fiddlesticks fights from going out, then you have something. And it being Cloud Soul, I think is actually really good for both these teams. The ultimate reliability from both these squads is really high when it comes to starting the fight, not just from a pick like Silas, but Fiddlesticks and Leona.
Saskia's going to potentially re-engage in this. It might be a bad idea, though, because Clyde's got the Solar Flares, got the Zenith, and like a Moz, got the kill. Hybrids with the teleport in. Sir Kenji on the backside. What an ultimate as well from Sir Kenji. Like a Moz trying to get out, but it's going to get flashed on here. The Ignite may be enough, and it will. Viego gets the shutdown. A third member here of Harrisburg is in the wings, but that's not even necessary. Give it a double kill over to Viego.
All right, the Viego show is officially happening. He was at a sliver of health and turns the whole thing around and is now back to full HP. It's like nothing ever happened, has a bounty on his head. Let's see how this play all started, because Saskio gets a little bit greedy. I don't know if this was a misclick or what, but he should have just left. To Gale Force into the face of Viego was the first mistake. And then Viego gets the Tristana rocket jump canceled out. It looks like he's going to go down, but he has so much sustain already. Silas thought he had it. Wasn't even close there, actually. Gets back to full health, has the Nautilus ultimate, and this Viego, it might just be everything they needed. Seems like the team is still unsure on how to deal with it, and they're going to have to lock him down and focus fire him. Otherwise, he's going to just run through this team.
4-1-2 feels really good, especially for Harrisburg facing match point here for Winthrop. And 2-1-0 is the Lucian, so clearly it has been thanks to all of the roam that you've gotten from Like a Moss to pick up these kills with only the one death on Doxa there. That double kill certainly helped and will provide a lot more gold. We can already see that blade is the rush, as well as the armor boots. And Viego is going to be consistently looking for more engages here. Got to be a little bit more careful with Hopeful. But oh my goodness, there's a lot of damage coming out from the side of Harrisburg. And I think, honestly, it's been a really good job of Harrisburg recognizing, okay, Winthrop has so far been setting up all of these team fights that end up going in their favor around these objectives. And Harrisburg has kind of been approaching them in a way of, we'll try to find good positioning. In the meantime, Winthrop is hiding in bushes or they've already prepared. But this time, we are seeing them instantly react to the preparation by Winthrop, and that has helped Harrisburg not just get some of these successful fights, but pick up both dragons.
And that quick reaction is critical. Ooh, speaking of quick reactions, great Gale Force there out of Saskia. Now that is a proper use of the Gale Force action to escape danger. Sometimes you do want to use it offensively, but to escape as an AD carry is often a better use of that skill. And let's see if the setup for this Rift Hero ends up mattering for this team. As Shorter Ace is positioning in the backside, they know where Winthrop wants to approach from. And here comes the Fiddle ultimate.
There it is, the jump onto Sir Kenji. He's going to have to flash over the wall like a Moss. Gets to use that ultimate on the backside. Frost Force with Zonia's maybe going down, but a wonderful binding from like a Moss, followed by the Culling will not pick up the kill. Rift Herald will be taken down. In the meantime, on the other side, Hopeful takes down Sir Kenji. Clyde very low, has the Ignite on him. Docs are just looking for the kill onto like a Moss, but has to come down and help the rest of the team. Frost Force is going to pick that one up. Now Harrisburg is completely split, but Shorter Ace, like a Moss, might be looking to try to help out the rest of the team. It's not going to happen at this point. They got the recall on the Kaisa.
We need a major zoom out to see all the action in this game. He's trying to 1v1, but it's actually going to be a 1v3.
1v3. Hopeful is just like, I need to come in here and auto. I don't have enough mana to do anything, but we will be able to get the kill like a Moss once again. Not gonna die. It looks like he's got a little bit of health. No, it's much more than that. Dox is gonna get flashed on, and then instantly Viego finds another one, and a massive shutdown at that.
Oh my gosh, this champion is disgusting. Oh, Viego is just doing so much for this team. He's baited hybrids twice. Leona gets jumped on, but Nari's here.
The Solar Flare does come out. That's a lot of damage onto Saskio, who uses the Gale Force to try to dash away here. The flash away from Sandflame to avoid the binding. Like a Moss, not quite there in time, so it'll be a breakaway.
It's a breakaway, but the fight lasted so darn long around the Rift Herald. It's now going to give Harrisburg the Dragon. They're going to be on Soul Point this early on, and they've been winning so many fights. Their gold is perfectly allocated. All their kills on their major carries. It's actually perfect. Viego already with a full build, it seems. You just need a Blade of the Ruin King, and that is enough for this champion. Building even more sustain and not a semblance of healing reduction to come out just yet.
The crazy part about all of this, honestly, is, you know, when you see Winthrop taking a lead, there's a massive gold advantage pretty quickly. And Winthrop has been preventing Harrisburg from doing that. Even though they found so many successful fights, they've got the 3 dragons. They are at Soul Point right now, and a highly contested one, because both of these teams would love to have that buff right now. So it's gotta be still a little bit of trepidation moving forward from Harrisburg. You don't want to give over a nice big shutdown from Viego. You want to keep this lead, but they need to make it a little bit wider.
Hybrids thought he had a 1v1. He thought that Shorter Ace and Hopeful had recall, that he had the opportunity, and with the health advantage he was looking for. It's questionable if the health advantage would have actually been enough to beat like a Moss, but then he plays this so well. Love the flash chains there, knowing that Lucian had no way out, no flash. If he dashes forward, he's dead. If he dashes or walks down, he's gonna get hit by the chains, and gets a fat shutdown for it too.
Still not enough to sway the gold in their favor, but it is enough to get a few more items built around here. That's going to be the Stride Breaker there for Viego. Get a little bit more initiation and engage, and that's certainly the name of the game in terms of items for this Harrisburg team, is hop on Winthrop and all of the members as quickly as possible. Might be looking for another fight here.
They need their eyes on Shorter Ace. He's level 11. So they're not that interested in committing unless they can see him. Ults away, though. That's a big cooldown. Black Shield. Okay, now they got to back off.
Like a Moss does have the cooling up, but was a little bit too close to try to use it for advantage for Winthrop here. They're just going to back right away. Still, you know, the trepidation is something that I think it's, you know, it's a patience kind of thing. And walking forward, knowing that, hey, it's match point for us. It's also potentially Harrisburg's last game here if Winthrop can push it out. So Harrisburg finding these smaller victories in the previous games, but this time, I mean, it is very possible we're going to see a Silver Scrapes here. We got to see that gold lead go in favor of Harrisburg at some point with all of these advantages, but we may see a game 5.
We really could. I mean, I'm loving that this is now the moment where all the experimentation is happening. Backs against the wall, it finally comes out. Enough of the standard picks. You would have not guessed that the 3 games of Victor would have led up to a Viego in the mid lane, but here it is, and combined with the Fiddlesticks, I think that it can be the driving force to actually take you to the game 5 and throw a big curveball into Winthrop. Now they actually have to get there. Like we just said, the gold lead still very much in the favor of Winthrop. Hasn't necessarily faltered, and with the double marks in the composition, all it takes is a misstep from one of the carries. Somebody overextending, even a tank, and they will get mowed down. You've got the double Gale Force as well to make sure that you can get away from the engage that's going to be inevitably coming out of Harrisburg. So they know what they need to do. They've remained in control, and it's in the 1 minute and 30 seconds that I think this game will really be decided. If this fight swings too much one way or another, it could spell disaster. And here's a TP trying to go after Nautilus.
So Kenji is going to get ulted here by Sandflame, who shows up with Mega Gnar. Shorter Ace is going to pick up that kill, and Harrisburg sets themselves up once again for some nice positioning as this dragon will spawn at about 1 minute 15.
You got the kill, you got the tower that's going to allow you to crash the wave even further and have better position for the dragon. And even nicer than that, you got the flash out of the Nautilus. That Nautilus flash is going to be critical for this team fight. While it did happen a minute before the objective, he still won't have that cooldown available. And so the next dragon fight will allow you to really pick on him. Lucian's getting real aggro, but he knows he doesn't have backup. He knows how strong Viego is, so he's just trying to do some cheeky damage and nothing more.
It was the Colt. No, maybe not. There's an immediate stop of, okay, yeah, this angle is not going to hit like a Moss. Not worth committing too far to this because they already do have priority. Last thing you want to do is lose a member here and make it so the Winthrop has no chance. And oh my goodness, that is a member lost. That might be a second member lost as the binding hits Sir Kenji. Hopeful gets the kill. And this dragon is now this is sole point here, and Harrisburg has massive advantage.
Oh yeah, it's theirs. It's entirely theirs. Not only is Winthrop in a position to not do Baron, you don't have your jungler to take it, you don't have anybody to tank it, you're not in a position with any spells to steal this objective, so you're just running into the jungle, hoping that you can counter some camps, because now the sole point belongs to Harrisburg with champions that are going to be filthy with them. Viego with this, with the movement speed from the ult, with just the passive movement speed, even the fiddlesticks, they're so strong with this. You really couldn't have asked for a better soul for this comp.
And honestly, that fight just kind of reinforces the point that I brought up about Harrisburg turning that reactive play into their own proactive play. They're like, all right, Winthrop has been setting up around these objectives early. We're going to do it a little bit earlier. And in fact, we're going to give some extra pressure, ensure that the smite is unavailable for the team. So I'm wildly impressed by HU's just recognition of that and the ability to kind of on the fly make these adjustments and find things that work. And like I said, this time it is not small victories they are finding. It is large ones. They just need to find out how to get this gold advantage. The fact that Winthrop was able to get a full tower at 13 minutes, getting all 5 plates, gives them a nice advantage. There's enough damage, though, on the side of Harrisburg that if they find a couple solid fights, that gold will sway quickly.
Yeah, there really is enough damage. They just need to catch multiple members. They have found the 2 here at best, or in a team fight really split up. We haven't seen those major 5v5s really break out, and that's when they'll truly shine. They're so powerful at this stage in the game, and that's why Winthrop does not want anything to do with them. They're backing off. They're clearing steadily away from the Viego. They do not need to take this guy on unless it is absolutely necessary, and you have multiple members to lock him down.
They do have the pings, though, pointing out the fact that Leona was trying to navigate around. She recognized that immediately and went down, changed up the pathing. Like a Moss might be pinched here, but there's not enough members of Winthrop close together to make a move on it. Saskia separated out here, but that's okay because Harrisburg is just going to back away from this one, reconvene towards the mid lane. Shorter Ace throws out the ultimate, has the double buff, doesn't want to lose that to the tower, and immediately disengages from the fight.
It was close. He could have flashed in to maybe do something against Saskia, but it really would have relied on Hopeful to also commit with his ultimate, and that would have been too much because if the rest of the squad is there to quickly capitalize on it, or if Saskia could buffer his ultimate to cancel away Shorter Ace's ult as well, then it would have been really dangerous with Akaisa left out to hang by herself. So he was just hoping that Saskia would linger around a little bit longer, killing that ward and getting a free kill. It doesn't work out, but this is why you have Cloud Soul. That cooldown is almost back up already. You can count like 15 seconds, and he's going to have it again. So he can keep looking for these plays and know that the opportunity cost is really low.
And he absolutely will, because we've seen Shorter Ace sit in a bush and wait for movement from the other team so many times. And now that he's Fiddlesticks, it works out even better. So those advantages continue to go in favor. You got 2 perfect scores right now on the side of Harrisburg, and it's 2 massive damage dealers. The Kaisa 4-0-1 and the 3-0-6 for this Fiddlestick. So even though the beginning, there were some of these engages, the gold lead's still not in their favor, but some of these engages that didn't seem to be going so favorably, they are making them. They are taking this proactive route. and Winthrop still hasn't figured out how to take advantage of it. There's another one.
Okay.
Another one. Nobody was even there that time, though. At this point, he's just being fiddlesticks and trying to scare people.
Yeah, he's just throwing dice at that point. Like, maybe someone's there. Oh, no, that's all right. I'll get my ultimate back up again. I'll use it next time. Because he can combo it with the Proto Belt, too, or with the Rocket Belt. So it's fun to watch him go for it. I now want to see him try once again from that same angle, just because 3 in a row would make it that much fun here.
Third time's a charm, right? I guess it's worked previously. Not from that position to be successful, but I have a good feeling that Shorter Ace is going to make the next one a little bit more of a conclusive decision here. Good on Harrisburg for clearing out some vision. It'd be nice to see some of their own, though, along that river, because once again, Winthrop is just dominant in terms of the vision score. Overall, they have been leading that throughout this whole series.
Yeah, sometimes you can be dominant with vision, but it's about what you do with the vision. And right now, they're paralyzed. They don't want to do anything with that because you don't see the fiddlesticks just yet. You can see that the river is safe, but you need to know where he's ulting from. Where is Shorter Ace attacking from? He's spotted right now with the control ward. So when he clears that up, we'll see if Winthrop can actually push up a little bit more, because Baron is on the table. You've got a minute on the Dragon, and there's no control wards on that pit. So whoever can get to that objective, control ward it up, prio in the mid lane, you can start to really force your opponent to go and check for you because of how quickly you can actually mow down this objective, both with the double carry and the Viego. Here comes another fiddle ult.
There it is, the solar flare as well. But this one hits the exhaust there onto Lucian, who does not make it out alive. Like a Moss in the meantime has found out hybrids. That's going to be Azonia's, but still likely a dead top laner. Sandflame still going on Sir Kenji. They're going to disconnect from that fight, but a successful one for Harrisburg again. And now they're making moves to Baron.
Did not respect the fiddlesticks, and they really got obliterated for it. Comes out of the Wraith Wall. You got to back off from the walls. His range of engage is perfect for hopping over these small terrains that are connected to the lanes, and it just takes them down, gets the Morgana right away, and a beautiful solar flare from Clyde actually catches both carries at the same time. Viego wasn't even involved in that until he caught the Silas by himself, but by that time it was already too late. The win was massive. It's going to be Baron, it's going to be an Elder as well, and this should be all but wrapped up from the side of Harrisburg with a commanding showing in Game 4 that just came out of nowhere with the draft and the play.
It's just honestly like a Moss has been a huge factor for this. Shorter Ace has been everywhere at once as well, picking a very aggressive jungler to match the style of Winthrop, and it has worked out here. Shorter Ace once again gonna sit in this bush, move forward. Hopeful finds the kill there, and the rest of the team wants to engage here on Winthrop. Sandflame gonna dash forward with that stride breaker. Just a little bit of a harass, a get out of here kind of moment. There is still a blast cone available there if Winthrop decides they want to make a move, but this Elder Dragon is going to be dealing a lot of damage, and it's going to take a bit to burn down.
Morgana has flash, but it would be a one-way trip to try to steal this. No Nautilus, no nothing. Blastcone's being well guarded here with Viego over the wall. Looks like they're going to try something, though.
They're going for an engage. Shorter Ace is going to hop over the wall. Down goes one member of Harrisburg. Hybrids gets that kill and will go down immediately in response. Frost Force has to Zonius out there, and oh my gosh, Hopeful with the flash over the binding to avoid getting hit. Saskia rocket jumping away, but like a Moss is on the run, just barely avoiding the hook there from Sir Kenji, and we'll consider that one a win.
Yeah, it's a good attempt. Slows down the Baron push. They're gonna probably still lose the Elder, but that means that there's less value of this Baron in actually taking down the base. So even though Harrisburg will be able to take the Elder Dragon, they're gonna have to get value out of it with a team fight. The siege is not gonna happen. By the time they reset and set themselves up in the lanes, the Baron will have expired, so there will be no reason for Winthrop to actually take a fight against them. They can just play it safe and wait it out.
And even so, with the Baron, with the Elder Drake, with that push, you've got a 3K gold lead now for Harrisburg. So they finally tilted things in their favor, but it's not a massive lead. It's not the leads that we were seeing from Winthrop over Harrisburg. So they still need to be a little bit cautious moving forward here, but continue to find these advantages. And I'm so impressed with how this team has adapted on the fly. Winthrop, was the one I was focusing on for that, but clearly not the only team. There's a reason that Harrisburg has made it this far in the tournament and now has pushed it to a Game 4 as well. We'll see if they can get it to a Game 5. I would love me some Silver Scrapes, and they have the ability to. Baron buff is still active for another little bit longer, and they managed to get a lot more pressure off of it.
If they, oh, bite!
Oh, there it goes. Hey, Fiddlesticks finding another spot to go in on that. Solar Flare's not going to hit anybody. Frost Force having to burn the zone as the culling comes out. And the re-engage by Clyde. It means Hybrids will be the next target. The ultimate coming from Sandflame, but so much damage from Doxa. Takes down Sandflame. Clyde will be the next target here, just waiting for the Zonias to end, and Hybrids picks that one up.
Well, they saw they had to dive because they had no more Baron. They had the Elder and thought, well, this is what we have to go for. But unfortunately, the rest of Winthrop was right there, instantly ready to collapse, whereas Harrisburg was split up. They were still split pushing, and as a result, they actually lose that fight. They trade 2 for 3. They don't even get the tier 2, and that's a win on the side of Winthrop. The gold, I don't think is that relevant anymore just because of how strong Harrisburg's team fighting is. As long as they get a good fight, it's pretty much in their favor. And a slow Black Shield stops Morgana from actually being quite relevant here, but they do get to pop Tristana right away. And it's when the Silas goes in and has the Gnar ultimate that does so much damage to this squad. Ends up taking one down. Fiddlesticks already away, and they're already tanking this. Kaisa is doing crap. She's not there. That's a numbers disadvantage.
This is a 10-0-2 Kaisa, by the way. Just, so everyone at home is aware of that. If you haven't looked at the scoreboard, 10-0-2 Kaisa. Yes, Harrisburg has doubled the kills for Winthrop. They're still trying to hold on here. Winthrop, 344 creep, a lot of pressure coming from Doxa. Honestly, Harrisburg just continues to engage on these fights to make Winthrop think that they are in the lead, to make Winthrop think that they are making the proactive plays. But no, then they realize, oh, this was Harrisburg's play, and we fell right into it.
It's a key sign of being ahead is in that you are being proactive, just constantly looking for the play yourself, being assertive, having the enemy play to your pace. Now, sometimes you can get too far ahead of yourself and make those oversteps that end up backfiring, and so that was one of them, but it shouldn't cost them too much. If anything, this tier 2 will be swiftly defended and will go back to fighting around Baron. In 30 seconds, that means that Winthrop will have to start clearing out vision and positioning themselves away from any walls, away from any dangerous brushes. Because if Short Erase gets a good ultimate, the Black Shield reaction time can't protect everyone.
Winthrop trying to look for a little engage there. Hybrids is going to pick up the Gnar ulti once more. They're looking for a pinch here. Winthrop knows that if they know the position of the enemy team, they can take an advantage here, but Vision now in control of Harrisburg as they have had a lot of pressure over the map, 4 towers to 5, but still able to maintain pressure around these objectives. Another very impressive thing, even though Winthrop had the early push, had several towers down and the gold lead to start, they focus on the objectives. They know this is why we were losing. Let's make it happen here. They're going to start up this Baron. A lot of damage done to it. Still at 5,500, though. And Winthrop is moving in. They're going to wait for the damage to go down. Now is the time to go in. The ultimate from the Fiddlesticks comes out. Doxa on the backside with the culling. Sandflame trying to hit this back line, and it will be enough to push the team away. Now it's a 3v3, though, as Clyde gets taken down. So does Hybrids, but a double kill over to Tristana has the rocket jump away. Kaisa flashing out, but the instant flash response from Saskio. That's a 2v1 now, though, so Saskio is going to leave it at that.
That was really close. I like how Harrisburg played that. They actually turned instantly. They were able to catch out the Morgana, but in the end, the double carries did a lot of damage. The instant exhaust onto Hybrids prevented the backline from getting instantly popped. But now with Hopeful and Like a Moss still being alive, they could still try to go for Baron. It's 20 seconds on a shorter race, but Tristana realistically won't approach for that. They have enough sustain. So we're going to see Shorter Ace channeling the ultimate, goes after Morgana. They're able to pop her and the Nautilus instantly, so they have a huge numbers advantage right away. But because Shorter Ace took so much damage, because Sand Flame overextended a little bit, and Hybrids bought time with the Zhonya's, it let Doxa and Safkio buy all the time in the world. Unfortunate, barely out of range to be able to take down Hopeful and trade that 1-for-1. And Baron will not have been started. It looks like the Morgana just runs straight at him, stops him from going after the objective, and now we've got another team fight on our side. It's 20 seconds for the Elder. I think that teams will prioritize this from the way they're moving in the map.
They have got to. The last thing you want to do is give Harrisburg another Elder Dragon. Granted, they weren't able to close it out with the Elder Dragon in the Baron buff before. That's thanks to Winthrop really acknowledging what they could do with the situation, finding a semi-successful fight. But Harrisburg is going to be the one to start it up. Winthrop taking the same strategy as last time, letting them burn it down as much as possible and navigating around to find a nice spot to jump in on this fight for. It looks like the blue buff is going to be taken by Hybrids here. They're going to break away from the Elder Dragon and allow Winthrop to engage on this fight. That binding is just barely going to miss, but it will hit the idol in the bush from Shorter Ace, who's gonna go in with the ultimate. Meanwhile, on the backside, the Zhonya's coming out after an engage the root onto Clyde. Like a Moss taking damage, and that Elder Dragon goes to Harrisburg. Like a Moss using the Zhonya's, and on the backside, another flash in and a double kill over for Harrisburg. They find out yet another member and have only lost one themselves. Sir Kenji, the last remaining one. Like a Moss does not want to allow this teammate or this player to get out of here alive. They want to see another ace. They want to really take advantage of this Elder Dragon, and Like a Moss makes it happen.
I think they bring us to game 5. They're going for the end, and they absolutely have it. Clyde was a hero in that fight. The Silas stole the Fiddlesticks ultimate, looked for a great engage, but the Solar Flare canceled it, and that just obliterated the fight for Harrisburg.
That's gonna do it. Harrisburg buys themselves the first win, the fourth win, and they are pushing us to Silver Scrapes, baby.
A great showing. I'm surprised we didn't see more games of this style, because they finally found what worked for them, and it's so different from what we usually see from them. They only had a previous game of Viego in this entire tournament. Now it shows up. It looks amazing. I think the Shorter Ace has to go back to mages. Looks so much better on these picks than on your traditional melee run-in champions, and it's a great time to give us a last win, because game 5 is where you put it all on the line.
And not just this isn't just a game 5 in a series, man. This is to determine who goes to the grand finals tomorrow to face off against Maryville. A huge opportunity and a massive final boss to go towards, trying to end the reign of terror that this team has kind of held over the rest of the collegiate teams for the last year. But we got to take a break because we got to get the Silver Scrapes in, right? Then we got to check back in with this analyst desk. And I'm so excited to go back into the State Farm analyst desk. They're going to have no idea what just happened here, but we get game 5, baby. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this break.
Welcome back to the 2021 College League of Legends Championship, and I must say, the college version of Scrapes
Wow.
is a banger. We got to hear
I like
it,
it
all thanks to these teams. Yeah, I feel like we're all vibing on the desk with this. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. But, one thing I do want to call out. So we are going into game 5, which means that HU Storm did pull out the victory here. They pushed it to the distance. But I love how all of us went into this game saying, oh, side selection's the same. We're probably not going to see that much different in draft. They're just going to run it back. But Five Fire, I feel like we definitely saw a bit of a mix-up here.
No, yeah, we saw the Fiddlesticks coming out from short race, as well as the Viego for Lycomos. Even the Silas in the top lane for Winthrop was a bit of a deviation. But, their backs were up against the wall. They figured they needed to make some level of adaptation, and honestly, it worked insanely well. The Fiddlesticks had a lot of pressure the whole game, had a few whiffed ults there towards the mid-late game, but was still an integral part of their victory, and obviously the Viego was popping off, getting resets left and right, carrying so many fights. It was so fun to watch.
And I think
it's so fun.
It's kind of interesting when we get into a best of 5. Typically, you'll see like the first 2 drafts kind of be really similar, and then the 3rd draft is really where it opens up. But in this game, it was the 4th game draft that really blew things wide open. And one thing I wanted to point out about Viego for Lycomos is none of the Victor games we've seen could have prepared us for the Viego pick. And it was really cool to see it come out here. I also really loved the Silas response actually from Winthrop. I don't think if you're Winthrop, you're looking at this and you're super disgruntled with your draft either. A lot of these have come down to execution and team fighting. So it was cool to see what this draft offered and then how the teams ended up playing it out.
Went into this game, said, let's bring out all the champions that steal abilities and just throw them out there and see how everything shakes out on the Rift. And if we're looking at how this game went, so later it was kind of difficult to see which way things were going to go. But Emily, I think things were going in the favor with some of the early moments that we saw from HU.
Yeah, so they get this pick onto Sirkenji, and it's actually pretty big because until this, Doxa really has strong prio. I mean, it's Lucian, right? So he's going to have really, really strong prio mid lane. That's exactly why you pick a Lucian, to just have this kind of domination so you can oversee the map. And then when shorter ace comes up here, the Morgana is actually going to ping it out, contest these birds. But because they actually ended up getting that kill onto Sirkenji, you have the Leona coming up. They're able to collapse, get the kill onto Doxa. This actually is huge in terms of resetting this lane for Lycomos, despite the fact that he doesn't get the kill here. He just gets the assist. It resets the mid lane. I'm sure Fire can talk about how much this means if you are just getting shoved in by a Lucian. And this really sets the tone for a lot of the fights that end up going Viego's way when we come to contesting Herald, when we come to a topside fight that I'm thinking of that's sticking out in my mind where he ends up getting at least a double kill. So the way that they ended up turning that pick into resetting this mid wave for Lycomos was actually pretty big in my opinion.
Yeah. I do want to hear just that, Fire. Give us your thoughts on how Viego worked out here. You're praising Lycomos for being on the comfort pick of the Victor before. Emily said that could not have prepared us, though, for what we just witnessed.
No, yeah, I mean, we were talking about on the desk, Viego was just doing Viego things, right? Like here, they're able to shut down the Tristana, and you're teleporting in, but Viego has the reset already. He's in the Tristana, he's able to use all of her spells, get away on very low HP, barely live, then he's on 1 HP, but he steals the Silas, jumps in with the Kingslayer with the additional healing. Now all of a sudden he's full health. Like, what the heck just happened? This champion's pretty crazy. Again, we have him here in the top side. Once again, he's pretty low HP. But he's got his teammates collapsing. They're able to shut this guy down. But what I want you to pay attention to is look at the stealth field that he's put down on the ground with that mist. He's actually in stealth right now as Silas and is able to use that to sneak up on top of Doxa and shut him down as well. I mean, and it's just set him up to carry this whole game. And like we said, we in the draft, we were expecting a Victor ban. We were like, he's played it all 3 games so far. He's looked strong on it. They're going to take it away. Then they left it up. We were like, oh, he's just going to pick it. But no, he hard pivots to the Viego and he pops off. So that was really fun to see.
I think that is really great that you brought up too when you're looking at that moment, Viego being in stealth, because realizing that maybe if you've been watching Collegiate, you've seen him a bit, but if you're here from the LCS side, you're maybe not as familiar with seeing him in that context. And we really got to see comboed so well with some of those moments from the Fiddlesticks as well, just to make these team fights really sing in these moments, Five Fire, and the way they were able to work as a team collectively.
Yeah, so I mean, in the end, right, like the Fiddlesticks and the Viego coming together in some of these later game fights. You see on the left side, there's the huge Fiddlesticks engage. On the right side, Viego is able to do his own thing. And I think this was the fight that ended up really getting Harrisburg a lot of their lead. They were able to get the Baron off this. They were able to get set up around some of the dragons. But as we know, the game wasn't even quite over at this point, Emily, as we continue to have more and more fights.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of these team fights ended up going very, very closely in one way, and then as that team ended up setting up for the next objective or tried to get the next objective, the team that initially lost the fight would then come in and win the fight. We had a really confusing Elder Drake fight for me because Doxa is in top lane without teleport, if I remember correctly. So he's shoving in topside tier 2, and the fight actually goes long enough for him to basically kind of be able to rotate all the way down. And a lot of these fights, even the last fight around Elder Drake, that fight actually might have been for Cloud Soul, or was it? No, it was also for Elder. This game went on a very long time, and there were a lot of fights around the Drake pit. Even that last fight, if there are one or two abilities that go Winthrop's way, they actually end up winning that fight. So if I'm Harrisburg and I'm looking at this game, definitely the Viego popped off. Definitely you're really relying on your team fighting, and that's super good. If I'm Winthrop, I'm looking at it and I'm like, we almost had this, like a few minor changes and we've got this. We even saw how difficult it was for Harrisburg to get a gold lead. Like they didn't actually end up taking over the gold lead until much later on when the Viego was already snowballing. So for Winthrop, I think a few minor adjustments and they actually end up taking this game.
No, yeah, I mean, they even had some of the scaling on their side. They had the double marksman with Lucian Tristana, Silas obviously scaling extremely well. He had 5 like amazing ultimates to take that game as well, so he was scaling just fine. And like you said, if just a couple of things had gone different in some of those final fights, right? Like in the last fight, the Silas had stolen away the Fiddlesticks ult, but it got canceled, and then Shorter Ace was able to secure the Elder Dragon, which meant that his AD carry won the 1v1. Right. So, you know, these two teams have just been so scrappy back and forth, and it's always been down to the final team fight, down to the last wire. So I can only expect game 5 is going to be crazy.
And we've talked a lot about the Viego pick, right? And how surprising it was to see like Amaz come out with that. But I also want to give props to Shorter Ace on this Fiddlesticks. I also don't think it's something that people were necessarily expecting, but he did a really good job of making sure that they were able to get these picks, making sure that he was affecting lanes, making sure that they were able to, again, we said that one thing about HU Storm that we wanted to see is them being able to get objectives, being able to extend one pick into a bigger team fight, into more kills, or into an objective. And I think it really started with Shorter Ace and his ability to get in as Fiddlesticks and control these team fights.
And it was a difficult game to read because of the things that you guys are saying, where the skills are here went a little differently there. You know, turrets taking a longer time to fall while other objectives became the focus of the game throughout. But all of it in the end meant that HU Storm did push towards the victory. And we do know that Winthrop, they have selected blue side. They're going back there. We won't make the mistake of last time, though, and thinking, they're probably going to run back the same stuff. Who knows if Viego is going to make it through this time or not. I don't know. Do you think, Five Fire, that he's just going to end up being on the ban table, being that for a while, it's not even that he was banned away. There was just that handshake agreement that he wasn't going to come through the draft.
You know, in my heart, I just want to see him again. I love watching the champion. He's my most played in solo queue. I've loved him since release. I want to see him in competitive now that he's unbanned. But, you know, if I was Winthrop in this situation, it was really scary last game, so I don't know if they'll let it through.
I'm just happy we got to see him in that game, at least in the fashion that we did. Now a couple times to tick off our agenda for the day of Viego appearances. But as we said before, we've got a game number 5. We're going to get geared up for that during this break. And on the other side, we'll continue with the action with our last game of semifinals to declare our final finalists facing off against the reigning champions in Maryville University. See you in a few.